Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grapperinos, the wrestling pizzeria where we serve you a slice of probably next week on Smackdown. I'm Bryon, and I'm once again joined by a guy who probably doesn't like his life right now, Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Yes, hello. I have to witness not only WWE SmackDown, but witnessing WWE absolutely glaze the fuck out of the New York Knicks because Danhausen decided to become culturally relevant at that period of time. So I am I'm currently not having a great time, Brad.
No. And I'm pretty sure that the next couple of weeks are probably not gonna be the best either.
Nope.
Just considering.
Maybe I should go
Yeah.
watch AEW, Brad.
Oh, AEW is great. They got Big Boom AJ. They got your boy Tommaso Ciampa. Um, who else is on there? Hey, they got a blonde woman. All right, I know you don't like those, but I heard Tony Storm is pretty good. So you know what? If you're down for that, then you'll be down for the. I think the Rizzler is like being put into a storyline where he's like rizzing a bunch of women all around, and it's just kind of weird. But okay, you accept it anyway because it's kind of funny, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, AW is there if you want it. um, right. Yes. So yeah, I guess WWE is going to be the talk of the town because Danhausen is here to basically catapult it to relevance. You know, it's one of those opportunities that they can take, and they did. So Danhausen took the Knicks to the finals and beyond, and the Knicks are now, NBA final victory people. I don't know what the words are anymore, but I think those are the words that encapsulate the New York Knicks at this time. So, following that, and I think we have the Saturday Night's main event next month in New York, as well as Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I guess we'll try to see what they come up with for this Friday SmackDown, which is, SmackDown, always a great show. Always a great show. And we try on this show to book and predict the next episode of SmackDown according to these rules. And after that, we basically watch the next episode of SmackDown after we tell you what we think will happen through our predictions and bookings on this episode of SmackDown. And then we score our predictions and bookings based on this scoring system. And then we tell you what we got on the next episode of this show, specifically this one, not SmackDown, this one. So, anyway, points. I got 4 points, and not really that much points, but it is what it is. I got 4 points, 2 from Roman and Jacob. Oh, sorry, that's not right. That's Raw. I'm looking at Raw. Anyway, I got 3 points, is what I should say. And the 3 points are from the Cody Gunther segment and the backstage segment from Danhausen. As always, Danhausen is a free point, and I should do something to capitalize on that, Mike. But there we go. What about you, Mike?
I had 4 points, mainly from the Gunther promo with Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn complaining about things as per usual. And I had the winner of the Queen of the Ring correct, not the King of the Ring, because Finn Balor lost. You know who also lost, Brian? LA Knight also lost as well. So I don't know. I'm fully off the LA Knight train right now.
You are right.
I don't think he's going anywhere, unfortunately. I think, I don't know, man. I mean, if there was anyone I heard a couple of rumors that he was booked to actually win this tournament up until a few weeks ago because of concerns about him being not great in the ring.
Wow.
And now it's going to be Jey Uso because they believe Jey Uso is the better worker. But I don't know, man. I don't think there's much left for LA Knight in this company. It seems like he's getting buried at every opportunity.
Yeah, I think at this point he should probably go back to TNA or, you know, go back to NXT or something. I don't know, man. For a man his age, like, what the hell, man? We're treating him like this? Come on, bro. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But I do think that LA Knight is being inserted into this whole bloodline storyline once again. And who knows? Maybe the optimistic side might argue that LA Knight has better things in store. Perhaps a match against Roman Reigns. Perhaps a match against the Bloodline Brethren. Who knows? Maybe he could play a role in the upcoming War Games match against the MFT. I don't know. But it is safe to say that LA Knight is not having the time of his life creatively in the company. And if you're a fan of LA Knight, it is a cycle. It is a cycle of just full on hope, and then the company just pulls the rug under, and there's despair afterwards. So, yeah. Hopefully, LA Knight does get better things for sure. Let's take a look at what is announced for this episode. We got a lot. We got a lot announced. So, we have the King of the Ring semifinals as Jey Uso takes on Javon Evans. We also have Queen of the Ring semifinals as Liv Morgan takes on Charlotte Flair. We also have Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints for the number one contendership of the U.S. Championship match at Night of Champions. So whoever wins that match gets a match for the U.S. Championship against Trick Williams at Night of Champions. We have Damian Priest and R-Truth taking on the MFT for the WWE Tag Team Championship, if you still care about tag team wrestling. And then we have Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the undisputed WWE Championship, with Sami Zayn as the special guest referee. So, without further ado, let's book this thing and head to my version of the show first as Cody Rhodes walks to the ring. He talks about the match with Gunther tonight, says that Gunther is trying to pit Sami Zayn against him, because he knows that Sami is Cody's greatest weakness right now. He doesn't know, though, that Cody has fire in his soul, and he will use everything at his disposal to make sure that he retains the undisputed WWE Championship, because he is easy to find, hard to beat. He is interrupted by Sami Zayn, who says that although he is chosen by Gunther to be the special guest referee, he will make sure to call it down the middle. He will make sure that the winner wins fair and square. He then starts talking about last week between him and Cody. And this leads to another argument between Cody and Sami regarding how Cody has been winning his matches lately and how he's been given opportunity after opportunity to sort of defend it against Gunther. And that causes Gunther to attack Cody from out of nowhere with a chokehold. And Sami tries to play the sort of middleman in this exchange. He pushes Gunther away and gets him out of the ring. And Gunther says, okay, I will do so. But not before attacking Cody again with a little bit of a sneak attack. And he leaves the ring smiling. So it may lead to another dusty finish. I think that, this could be predictable, but I'm leaning towards a certain outcome, which might be the outcome that they go with, but I will talk about that when we get to the main event. For now, let's move on to the Queen of the Ring semifinals as Liv Morgan takes on Charlotte Flair. I will have Liv Morgan win. Yes, I will have Liv Morgan win, and I will have her win by pinfall due to a distraction from Judgment Day. And this distraction works after an attempted distraction from Jade and the Take Off My TVs is interrupted by Rhea and her baddies. And I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think it is going to Liv. And I think Liv is advancing. Charlotte Flair, I think, is way too embroiled in this whole, Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill kind of situation, so I think she is going to have to take a back seat to that, I'm afraid. So there we go. Moving on to the backstage segment, the first of a couple, as Danhausen does some shenanigans, and I am copying and pasting my previous one. So Danhausen does something, and someone gets mad. So there you go. Moving on to the MFT promo, and Solo talks about the match they had last week and says they will use that momentum to take on Damian Priest and R-Truth and get their championships back. That, of course, talking about the tag team championships. He also talks about the attempts to have Royce Keys join the MFT in the upcoming war against the Bloodline World Order 2000 2.0. He wants Royce Keys to join him in the ring so he can talk to him about joining the group and joining them in their fight against Roman and his crew. And instead of Royce Keys, we get Damian Priest and R-Truth. Damian Priest says the MFT are a bunch of losers, and they will lose their attempt to get their championships tonight because Royce Keys is not there. R-Truth says the Judgment Day has their back, and with the Judgment Day's help, they will retain their championship. And both teams just do a little back and forth with their promos as they prepare for their match, which is up next. As Damian Priest and R-Truth take on the MFT for the WWE Tag Team Championship. And unfortunately, I will have the MFT win here by pinfall due to a distraction from Royce Keys. That fails. So basically, I will have Royce Keys sort of try to go in and help out Damian Priest and R-Truth, but it kind of ends up helping the MFT, and so the MFT win as a result. After the match, Solo pats Royce Keys in the shoulder as he and the rest of the MFT leave, and Royce Keys is sort of disappointed in himself. He kind of wants to take the MFT out by himself, but considering he doesn't have much help, he decides to sort of let it go for now. And I think that WWE will have Royce Keys eventually join the MFT. I think right around SummerSlam. For now, they're sort of like slow building this out. But I do feel that we are heading towards a Bloodline versus MFT War Games match. So I would rather have Royce Keys sort of join the MFT right around SummerSlam to prepare for that. And then you would have the sort of period where Royce Keys has some pains being in the group. And, they would have to figure that out. And then eventually Royce Keys is part of the group, and there you go. So I think that's what they're doing with Royce Keys. And I hope I'm wrong, because I think Royce Keys deserves better than the MFT. But I guess is what he's going to have to be saddled with. So there you go. Up next, Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints for the number one contendership for the US Championship match at Night of Champions. I will have Ricky Saints win by pinfall. I think Ricky Saints is next because I think they are saving Carmelo Hayes for SummerSlam. I think it's a much bigger feud for Trick versus Carmelo than Ricky Saints. So I think Ricky Saints should be in that sort of number one contendership for now. Have their match at Night of Champions, have Trick retain, and then we have the big sort of feud between Carmelo and Trick that will be headlining, or not really headlining, but one of the major matches for SummerSlam, as it is a continuation of their feud in NXT. So there you go. Up next, Giulia versus Kiana James. And this happens due to what happened backstage between Giulia and Kiana James. I think Giulia needs to win more than Kiana James, so I will have Giulia win by pinfall. I think this is the first match out of many. They are going to have, I think they will have a sort of blow-off match at SummerSlam. So probably a match here and then a match at Saturday Night's Main Event, and then the blow-off at Saturday Night's Main Event. So I think that is what is going to happen there, and I hope that Giulia wins that feud overall because she needs it more than Kiana. Sorry to say, but after the past championship reigns with Giulia in Smackdown, I think that Giulia deserves to win more than Kiana James, so there you go. I hope Giulia gets it, so. Next, we got Jey Uso taking on Javon Evans for the King of the Ring semifinals, and I'm sorry, but I am going to have Jey Uso win by pinfall. I think that they want to push the whole Jey Uso bloodline kind of thing going. Controversial, I know, but I think they are pushing the sort of bloodline 2000 2.0 era with Jay and Jacob and, all that. So I would rather, have Jey Uso there as he is a major name. I'm pretty sure the Saudis want Jey Uso more than Javon. So Jey Uso kind of going to the finals is a much better proposition for WWE than Javon. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll be surprised if Javon wins, but I don't think it'll be the outcome. I think Jey Uso will advance to the finals. So, too bad. Sorry, Javon. Moving on to backstage segment number 2 with Sami Zayn. Sami is pacing back and forth in his referee costume while Nick Aldis talks to him. He says to be as fair as possible as a referee, to call it down the middle, and to discard any personal issues you might have with either Cody or Gunther. Sami nods his head, he sort of clears it, and he does whatever he can to prepare, kind of shakes it off. Nick tells him good luck, and Sami Zayn heads out for the main event, which is Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. I will have Cody Rhodes win by pinfall. Why? Well, as I said earlier, dusty finish, and I think this is what will happen. Sami Zayn gets laid out by Cody Rhodes, which leads to shenanigans, between Gunther and Cody. However, the shenanigans by Gunther kind of backfires because Cody also does some heel tactics that is not seen by the referee because Sami Zayn is down. He gets Gunther down for the fall, and Sami, who is limping and doesn't really see what's going on, he counts to 3. After the match, Cody leaves for the title. He kind of runs out of the ring and into the backstage. While Gunther attacks Sami Zayn due to the call that Sami made. I think this will lead to Gunther versus Sami Zayn for SummerSlam because we had this match at WrestleMania 40. And now we're going to have a match against Gunther and Sami Zayn. Versing each other. And we love running back things here at the WWE, so might as well bring that back. You know what I'm saying? And I think we'll continue the whole Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes kind of debacle there. It seems to me that they want to turn Cody heel, and they're kind of slow burning it. As with Sami, I think he is going the whole... They're trying to make Sami Zayn kind of more likable, at least in the people's eyes. And I think, pushing him into the storyline between Cody and Gunther kind of makes Sami more, I guess, believable as a character. And it kind of makes him more, I guess, accepted, I suppose, because of, his current situation. And given his call and what his job was as a referee in that match, I think that the next few months after that will be sort of the fans slowly accepting or trying to accept Sami Zayn back. And I don't think Sami Zayn is turning heel. I think they're just putting him in a situation where fans kind of understand him to the point where they can be like, all right, I guess Sami is a good guy, right? So I understand the whole heel thing as well. The last real good guy and all that, and going against Cody. But I think that was to lend more of an edge to Sami Zayn, make him more of an anti-hero, and kind of make him a nice foil against Cody, because Cody is seemingly the sort of Superman of the WWE, although he's showing a bit more signs that he is more than that. But yeah, generally speaking, he is more of a Superman, and they're trying to make Sami the foil. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I will run with that. So there you go. Any questions?
Yeah, so who do you think ends up challenging Roman at SummerSlam then? Because it seems like the direction that they're going is they're going to have this feud with Gunther and Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. And if the dirt sheets are to be believed, Jey Uso is going to win the title, and then Jey Uso is going to fight Cody at SummerSlam. I can also see him turning on Roman, but that would be very predictable because they've already ran this angle before.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
So, and I don't know who would fight Cody. Maybe you do another rematch between Gunther and Cody, or Sami and Cody. But I think the play really is for it to be Jey versus Cody, and then who fights Roman at SummerSlam.
So I think Jey versus Cody is a terrible option either. There's Jey potentially. There's also Javon, although I don't think Javon is winning. And then there's Obafemi. So at this point, I think I would run with Oba versus Roman at SummerSlam. I think now I do realize that Oba has a match against Brock. However, it is a 2-day SummerSlam. So you could have Oba versus Brock on day 1, and then on day 2, you could have Oba versus Roman. Sure, I guess, if you want to. You could also potentially go for Jey versus Roman. Again, that's kind of predictable, and you're kind of running back that angle again, which I don't want. And then, you also have Jey versus Cody, which is better. I would say it's better, but it's still Jey versus Cody, which is just, I don't know if I'd be interested in that feud. I would rather just pick Oba at this point. I'm kind of getting sick of Jey, honestly. But that's just me, probably. I think I'm just sick of the bloodline in general. But I think for Roman, Oba at SummerSlam, that is like a big stage as well. And both of them could produce a good match, I think, and then potentially you could have, your opportunity to have Roman step away for a bit if you want him to do some more movie roles or whatever the hell you want to do with Roman, because it seems like he's trying to be a part-time champion, so whatever. And then have Oba sort of continue his, be the new Brock Lesnar, sort of hold that title for a long time, establish that dominance, and kind of carry it for maybe a year, close to that, until you find someone credible enough to challenge him. Could be someone from NXT or TNA. I don't know. But I think I would rather have Obafemi versus Roman than Jey versus Cody at SummerSlam. I think the better option would be CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Just have CM Punk return, announces that, Summer of Punk is back, and I'm coming for that title, Cody, because you told me that I can challenge for your title at any time you want, and here I am. So I want your title, Cody, and then there's your program for SummerSlam between Punk and Cody. So those are my 2 matches. Cody versus Punk, and on the other side, you have Oba versus Roman.
Okay.
Those are big matches, in my opinion.
Those are big matches. Yes. Those are much better than what I had believed, but... Alright. I think I'm ready for my card, Bryon.
Alright. Let's move on to your card then, starting off with...
we have a Cody Rhodes promo. So, I think Cody comes out and puts himself over for the match on Smackdown that he has with Gunther. He is interrupted by Sami Zayn. So Sami comes out and says, Cody, I know you and I have been friends, but I'm going to tell you that I'm going to call this down the middle. Cody, kind of agrees a little bit. Gunther then comes out and confronts both of them, saying that if Sami screws over Gunther, then Gunther will, make Gunther will go after Sami Zayn if he screws over Gunther a second time. I think this is setting probably a feud between Sami and Gunther going into SummerSlam. If it sounds like that Gunther is not going to be fighting for a title come SummerSlam, which I think is a bit odd, but I understand that there are other people that are in line for a title, so... yeah, I think that that's where they're going.
Yeah.
Sami is going to be fighting Gunther at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yeah, I think their last match they had a title on the line, which I think was the US Championship. Maybe?
It was
or
the
Intercontinental?
IC,
I don't know.
yeah, IC, yeah.
Yeah. And this one you have no titles, so not great. Yeah. So if they decide to do this and go through with Sami versus Gunther, I guess who would you have win then? Would you have Gunther win?
I'd have Gunther win, yes.
Okay. And at this point,
and you have Sami go on a mini heel turn up until the Rumble, where he goes face, and then he wins the Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, so you'd have a little heel turn with Sami. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense that he would turn heel as well, given what he's talking about lately. So, yeah. Would you consider Gunther to be a member of Smackdown? I guess he is, right? I mean, he's been...
yeah, he is, technically. Didn't he sign? He signed to SmackDown.
Okay. Alright, fair enough. Okay, well, I guess I'll reserve my other questions for the main event, but for now, we'll move on to...
A backstage segment. The Vision confront Javon Evans yet again. The Vision confronted Javon Evans last week, asking if he'd be interested in having some company. Javon Evans said he did not need the Vision, and I think they're going to try and recruit him yet again because all of their members are injured and they need more help. So, yeah. I don't think Javon Evans turned space.
Well, they brought back Logan Paul. They brought back Logan Paul recently, but he has a brace on.
Yes.
Still, so yeah, technically two, but one like fully functioning member, I suppose. And yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Javon and Division either. It kind of seems weird and random to me that they would do that. I mean, I guess it's because Javon is young and Logan and Austin are also technically kind of young, so I guess you can make the case there. But do you think that Javon would ever join Division, or do you think this is just some sort of like, I guess, repetition kind of deal to have Javon eventually say, "Oh, all right, fine, I guess I'll join you guys."
I can see him joining if they feel like they need to drag this on for a while. But it sounds like Seth Rollins is going to be moving on to feud with Roman, so I don't think he joins.
Okay. So would you slot Javon then into like other mid card feuds with Chad Gable or some other person? I think this is Raw, but
yes, yeah, I can see him moving into the U.S. title scene, maybe, or IC title scene.
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, do you see him winning the title this year, like maybe at Survivor Series or so?
Probably next year.
Okay,
I don't see him winning it this year. I think it's a little bit too early.
All right, fair enough. We shall see, though. We'll move on from that to
we have the Queen of the Ring semi-final, Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan. I think Charlotte Flair wins because having Liv Morgan win this tournament would be the stupidest thing to ever happen in the history of this tournament. I think Charlotte wins because the Judgment Day come out to try and interfere on Liv Morgan's behalf, but this time Rhea and Alexa Bliss show up to help the Charlotte win this title. Or prevent Judgment Day interference. I think they're still going to go for Charlotte versus Rhea in the title match. So
Okay. Wow. All right.
yeah.
Well, Charlotte Flair is kind of in a weird position right now. I think the company thinks that Charlotte is, a bit of a mid-card kind of player as of now. I don't think they want to push her back into that spotlight of, challenging for the women's championship again. So I think they're more high on Liv, that's for sure, than Charlotte, in my opinion.
But how much more high can you be on Liv? She already has the title. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. They love the Judgment Day for some reason, specifically Liv. So I don't know, man. Like, I would be surprised if Charlotte Flair wins, because I just don't think that Charlotte is going to ever sort of go to that spot unless, you really want to, try to plant some seeds into the breakup between Charlotte and Alexa, I guess. But I don't know. It seems to me that they care more about Liv.
I think it makes sense though. Because I think what happens is Charlotte wins. She ends up challenging Rhea, in some twist of fate. I think whoever challenges Liv is probably like Stephanie McCare or I don't know, fucking Naomi if she comes back. I don't know, someone else challenges Liv for her title. I think that Charlotte challenges Rhea, and we have this weird, Alexa Bliss has to choose between Rhea and Charlotte. Like, who is she gonna pick to side with? I think that's the story they're going towards. As for what happens with Liv, I don't fucking know. Maybe she makes another Britney Spears music video. I don't fucking know. And at this point, I don't fucking care, because she's kind of reached this Cody Rhodes level of being the champion where I've just kind of grown numb to it and don't really, I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, she's the champion. Okay, sure, whatever. So.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I mean, for sure. I think it's no secret that WWE does play favorites with some of their stars, right? So, I mean, it will get to a point where people start getting sick of Liv. I don't know, for some reason they like Liv, and WWE is like, you know what, let's just keep doing this and keep pushing Liv, and at some point it's going to result in people just not liking Liv. So yeah, I think Liv definitely has more of a shot here than Charlotte, but I'd be surprised, as I said earlier, if Charlotte wins this one, and hopefully I'm wrong with Liv winning. So anyway, we'll move on from that too.
We have a backstage segment. Danhausen has something New York Knicks related because I hate my fucking life. The Knicks parade was today, apparently. I didn't watch it, obviously, because I'm not a Knicks fan. But I assume that I heard some reports that Danhausen was going to be involved. They've already come out with Danhausen merch for the Knicks, so I'm assuming there is some Danhausen involvement. For some fucking reason, last week, Liv tried to what I thought at first was Riz Danhausen in probably the most awkward segment I've ever seen on SmackDown, since she tried to penetrate Dominic Mysterio about a year and a half ago. But no, she tried to bribe him, and Danhausen, being an autistic weirdo, said, "No, I don't deal with the female race," and she left. So, I don't know. I'm putting this in here.
It's all business. Danhausen is siding on the part of business, Mike. He's a businessman. All right? He has no time for pleasure.
I see people complain about this. They're like, this makes this show look childish. Like, why do they have these wacky segments with this, vaudeville comedy? I mean, have you seen the rest of the show? Is it any better?
Yeah, the show is fucking boring, man. Yeah. What the hell?
Like
Guys,
you
it's
should
called
take
sports
any
entertainment, all right?
win at this point you can get. And I think that's what you get for having Danhausen on the show. As for his next potential match, I think Danhausen has a rematch against The Miz and or Kit Wilson with whoever he is trying to bring back. Bryan has said it's going to be Baron Corbin. I think at Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden, because he is going to get probably one of the largest pops since the Attitude Era at Madison Square Garden, which is kind of the statement of a lifetime, that Danhausen is going to be getting that kind of pop, but here we are.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And he is due a statue, or at least something of that sort. So, better give it to him, New York. Better give that statue. You know, get him that statue. Put him next to the Statue of Liberty. Call it the Statue of Danhausen. The Statue of Libertyhausen.
Statuehausen.
Oh, there you go.
Statuehausen. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do think Danhausen's gonna get that huge pop. And until then, I guess he's saddled with The Miz and Kit Wilson. I think Kit Wilson and The Miz are just enjoying being part of it, so they're just willing and able to just stretch this out. So
Yes.
fine enough. Yeah, fair enough. They're having fun, so why not? We'll move on from that too.
Ricky Saints versus Carmelo Hayes. This is the number one contendership match for the U.S. title. I think that Carmelo Hayes ends up winning this one. I think it's a little bit too early for Ricky Saints, and I think that we have a Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams rematch at King of the Ring, or maybe SummerSlam, who knows.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry, you're saying Carmelo wins?
Yes, I'm saying Carmelo wins this match on SmackDown.
Okay. Wow. Okay, would you have Carmelo win if this match were to happen at either King of the Ring or Night of Champions or SummerSlam? Or would you rather hang it on Trick for a little longer?
Personally, I would like Carmelo to win, but I think Trick wins because they hate Carmelo for some reason. So
he's also got that Lil Yachty connection, right?
He does have the Lil Yachty.
I'm just gonna say it, man. Lil Yachty has been playing his role very well, and I'm warming up.
Yeah,
I'm warming up to the idea of Lil Yachty just being like a hype man for a wrestler. Like he's fine, man.
Yeah, he plays exactly what he should be. He doesn't try to get too involved. He doesn't try to make himself the center of attention like Pat McAfee. He just kind of sits there and is sort of his hype man and intentionally tries to get involved in matches to help him win. And that's about it. But otherwise, Trick Williams is the show, and he does exactly what he needs to do, and that is kind of what the template for celebrity involvement should be. Speaking of celebrity involvement, Bryan. What's his face got his ass kicked on Monday.
This is more for Raw though, but yeah.
That's true. I'll bring it up.
We'll bring it up on
Monday.
Raw. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
All right. I guess for now we'll just move on to
a backstage segment. The Usos arrive with Jacob Fatu. So,
ooh.
Last week, or I think actually on Monday, there was a segment with Jacob Fatu saying that he's only loyal to Roman, and Roman rewarding him with some, like, second-tier Ulafala. It wasn't the actual Ulafala, it was some other random necklace that no one has ever seen or heard of before, and no one knows what it is. But he gave it to him, so I don't know what it does. Maybe it gives him secret powers. Who knows? But I think that
it's not going to be Danhausen level, bro.
I think Fatu arrives with the Usos. There's some tension between them. The Usos don't trust Fatu. Fatu doesn't like taking orders from the Usos. And yeah, I think we're setting the seeds for to try and potentially have a second Bloodline Civil War. Because I don't know. We have nothing else we can do on this company except to rerun the Bloodline again.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I think they're
reform.
starting-
We're gonna reform
Yeah.
the Bloodline only to break it up again.
So, as a fan, well, you are a fan of NWO,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, would you say would you say this is better, still better than NWO 2000? Or is it still too early to compare?
It's too early to compare. I don't exactly know where they're going with this whole like Neo Bloodline angle. So.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I was just yeah. Okay, fair enough. We'll move on from that too.
The WWE Tag Team titles: Damian Priest and R-Truth versus the MFT. The MFT win this one via pinfall. I think that R-Truth and Damian Priest have served their time as temporary tag team champions until we think of a new angle, and the MFT win this one. I think they like Talatonga a lot. They put him in the fucking King of the Ring tournament, so they like him because he's tall. They like tall men, so they're gonna give it to him.
Yep.
That's my only reason.
A lot of people don't know this, but do you remember when the MFT were being set up as the new bloodline, or like the next sort of bloodline, and then they were just like, I guess we'll bring back the bloodline.
They did, and they barely feuded with the Wyatt Six. They lost the feud to the Wyatt Six, and then the Wyatt Six left the company.
That's what you get for winning. You leave.
Imagine winning a feud and then leaving and then getting fired.
You are banished to the Shadow Realm. Thanks for your time.
Imagine winning a feud and the person you win the feud against manages to remain in the company. Like, who won at that point? The MFT won in the long run.
That's true. Solo is just laughing. But, yeah, I guess who's next? I mean, the tag team division in this company is not great, as I've said previously. So, the Marcy Machine Guns are out. Johnny Gargano is still limping, or at least, he's, I don't know what he's doing. I guess the only tag teams that are there are Fraxium, and I guess that's it. I don't know who else. The War Raiders are AAA tag team championships. Or champions? Like, who else is there, man? So, I guess would you run MFT versus Fraxium again? Or would you bring a tag team from TNA or NXT into the fold to kind of solidify the division? I guess what would you do? Besides, the usual unify the titles, which I think they will not do. They would never do that.
I don't know who else is on SmackDown. I mean, maybe you can do Alpha Academy. I know Alpha Academy might be coming back. I think maybe you can do Fraxium. You're right. I think you can do if Penta loses the title, you could run back the tag team of Penta and Dragon Lee, who were, I think, a tag team in Lucha Underground,
AAA?
I think? AAA?
Oh.
Yeah. I think they were a tag team in Lucha Underground.
Okay.
Did you know they're brothers?
Dragon Lee and Penta are brothers?
Yeah.
I thought it was Ray Phoenix and Penta, but okay.
Oh, yes, sorry, Ray Phoenix and Penta. Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, Ray Phoenix and Penta.
I believe that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think they're going to be a tag team at some point. Not right now, because they're on separate rosters. So, I mean, there has to be a breakthrough where they're now a tag team. But for now, they're just keeping them as single stars. So, I don't know. With Ray Phoenix not having a lot to do, pretty seems safe to me to, once Penta loses the title, to just have him tag with Ray Phoenix on SmackDown. Might as well. It's there. But, alright. Whatever. we'll move on from that to
King of the Ring qualifying match, Jey Uso versus Javon Evans. The Yeet Man cometh, and the Yeet Man wins via pinfall, despite interference from the Vision. I think Jimmy and Jacob Fatu come out to help fight off the Vision, and Jey Uso manages to pick up the win and advance to the final, where he will face Obafemi and probably win and go on to fight Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam.
Whoa, you think he's gonna win against Obafemi? Really?
Yes, because I think the card is Obafemi fights Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Okay, and then Brock Lesnar retires.
Yeah.
I think then Seth Rollins fights Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, and then Jey Uso fights Cody Rhodes.
Jey Uso fights Cody Rhodes. Okay. Huh. I mean, that card is still okay, I guess, but yeah, I don't know.
You give way too much credit to their booking abilities, Bryon.
I mean, like, Jey Uso is just being pushed way too much, in my opinion. I just don't. Why do we need to push Jey Uso again? Like, that's my issue with this whole thing.
Because he's better at selling merch.
Yes, sure.
Because that's the whole Yeet thing.
Sure, but I mean, we've kind of run the whole Jey Uso as champion before, and it's not the best, so hell, I think they run an angle with Gunther, like Jey Uso versus Gunther, where Jey was the champion?
They did, yes. Yes, last year, yes, where he won the title. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I thought
that's when he won the title at
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, yes.
Okay, well, I thought it was when he had the title, but okay, never mind. All I'm saying is that Jey Uso is getting pushed way too much, and we need to stop. Let Javon win this time, all right? That's all I'm saying. But I guess I'll pose this question to you then. Do you think Jey is going... I mean, do you think that Jey or Jacob, are they going to eventually have a match against each other? Or do you think, as you said with the Bloodline Civil War, do you think that this will lead to some sort of match between, Roman and one half of the Usos, and then you have Jey and Jacob, or Jacob and Jimmy on the other side? Like, where do you think this is sort of going, I guess? Especially with War Games coming up later in the year. And they're kind of teasing the MFT there as well.
I could see another Bloodline versus Bloodline scenario, though that'd be kind of weird because we've already done this angle before. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Jey wins against Cody, though. So, that's my thinking. I don't think Jey wins. I think Cody takes it and probably loses it to maybe like Gunther somewhere down the line.
Huh. Okay. So you'd have a rematch, I guess, between Cody and Gunther later in the year or next year, I guess?
Yeah, after SummerSlam, I'd have a rematch.
Okay. Huh. I mean, now that I think about it, I think... Actually, that would probably make sense, because at this point, they might have 2 matches between them so far, and this is sort of the blow-off, so I guess it makes sense, yeah. Fair enough. I guess we'll move on from that then, too.
The main event, the WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, with Sami Zayn as the special guest referee. I think Cody wins via disqualification.
Whoa.
I think Sami Zayn makes a questionable call. Gunther argues it again, and this kicks off a feud between Sami Zayn and Gunther that goes into SummerSlam. And there we go. I could also see Gunther winning this, but that's a lower chance. I'd say I give it like a 20% chance that Gunther actually wins this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think taking the title off of Cody Rhodes on a random episode of SmackDown is a great choice. But I think Cody wins this one by a DQ, and then we have a Gunther versus Sami Zayn feud at SummerSlam. So.
All right. You did a little bit of Steiner math. You said that Gunther has a 20% chance of winning if he was to go 1-on-1 with Cody. Well done. Well done. I would be surprised if they give it to Gunther here. It would honestly make, I wouldn't say sense, but it would sort of take the sort of disagree that, Cody's a great champion. All of that goes out of Cody now. And Gunther has to carry that burden. But I do think that they are sort of slow burning Cody's heel turn. And pretty soon he's going to turn to the dark side at some point. So, yeah, that does make sense. But I guess the question is, with the whole Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes thing, do you think this is leading towards a potential match between Cody and Sami? Could you see, I guess, Sami this turning into some sort of anti-hero? Or, just a face with more dimension, I guess? Like, or is Sami a heel now? Or as you say, maybe a tweener? Where could you see Cody and Sami moving forward from this match?
I think that Sami loses to Gunther, then he's sort of a tweener up until this match. Then he turns heel after this match, maybe against Cody. Goes up against Cody at like PLE in between SummerSlam and the Rumble. Loses to Cody. Goes home, comes back before the Rumble as a face, wins the Rumble, and then goes up against Gunther again and wins the title.
Oh, I actually like that idea. I think him kind of taking some time off and like going away for a bit. Yeah, I kind of like that, and then come back at the Rumble. I'm just not sure if that's like the right amount of time for fans to be like, oh, I miss Sami Zayn, and then you're gonna have them come back at the Rumble. I don't know if that's like enough amount of time for them to do, but I kind of like that idea, honestly. Just, yeah, for sure. I guess the other question is, where do you think, if Gunther does win, Mike, where could you see, sort of the direction for Gunther? I know that you mentioned that, we have the King of the Ring tournament stuff. You have Obafemi, and then you also have, on the other side, Jey Uso and Javon, right? Where could you see, I guess, Gunther taking on at SummerSlam if Gunther does win in this match?
So I think after Gunther wins this match, I think that he then goes after Cody again, and I think that he ends up beating Cody, maybe at the Rumble. I think he beats Cody, and then that will set him up nicely to defend against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. Two pretty good routes, I must say, Mike. That is some pretty fine booking, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, you know what? You can hire me, Trips, if you want to.
Hey, maybe Trips will listen to your idea of Jalen Brunson versus the other guy. Maybe he'll listen to it. Maybe he'll book it at SummerSlam just for you, Mike. Just so you can be happy about it.
Jalen Brunson and Danhausen versus Tyrese Halliburton and The Miz.
Oh, the Miz. Okay. I thought it was gonna be like Actually, yeah. Okay, never mind. I was gonna suggest something else, but alright, fair enough. Well, I guess that is what we have for what we think will happen on this episode of SmackDown. And as I said earlier, we will score our predictions and bookings as we watch the next episode of SmackDown when it airs. And on the next episode of this show, you will hear us basically score our points or give to you our scores. And then we'll do this whole predicting and booking all over again. So until then, thank you for ordering a slice of probably next week on Smackdown from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, everybody.